Yeah, let's call the shots on lap 1.
Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant night of racing, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. It's going to be, a good night, I think. The Momo guy's going really well at the moment as we just go into turn 1. Jack McIntyre is taking us through there at the moment, and everyone looks too clean. We've got one guy off at the back, not sure who that was at the moment. But yeah, what's your thoughts for this race, Chaz?
Well, we've seen a lot of slipstreaming throughout the season with the MX5, and it's a very, very strong slipstream indeed. It's currently Ryan Walker second in the race as it stands. Steve Heffer down the inside though into turn 3. He's got Adam McNally, his teammate, in there as well. So it's 2 Momo cars and 2 Youth Energy cars. Ryan Walker actually put it second on the grid as well. I'm sure he'll have been happy with that, and he wants to keep the car near the front of the field. But Jack McIntyre running with it at the moment. They've got another Youth Energy car behind them in 5th with Brian Holmes. Oh, further down the order, Luke Cooper's going slowly. They're 3 wide, nearly in the middle. That's some of the result clothing cars there. But Steve Hefford and Ryan Walker battling for 2nd and 3rd as it stands, although Hefford's now down to 4th actually. He's been taken by McNally as well. Walker back up to 2nd place. And Brian Holmes is trying to get on this as well as, there's nearly contact with Holmes and, Hefford and McNally. The big gaggle of cars behind them as well, Tom.
Yeah, it's been exciting racing so far, hasn't it? So all the guys doing quite well. As you see the number 58 of Brian Holmes trying to go around the outside there, but doesn't seem to be quite close enough on this lap. So yeah, it's the guys are starting to space themselves out a little bit now, but we're starting to see a few fierce battles coming in. But Jack McIntyre isn't getting away too well at the moment from Ryan Walker. Ryan Walker's sticking with him, sticking with the number 37 Momo car. So hopefully we should see some great battles in this race, Chaz.
Yeah, indeed we will. Like I said before, the slipstream's going to be a great equaliser here. Ryan's going to get a really nice long tow down the straight. We saw at Watkins Glen that it was about 1.9 seconds even that you could get a slipstream from, and I'm sure if they're within distance down here, then they'll get that done. Jack McIntyre does the fastest lap so far, of course, with the cleanest run throughout the whole lap of 1:56.4. Not quite the sort of lap times we were seeing from the Formula 1 on the weekend. Some of the guys down into the 1:11s, which is just an unbelievably quick lap time. I mean, me and Tom were both watching it together, and we were just in absolute awe of the pace they were carrying. So it's going to be interesting to see how the MX5 suits it tonight though around here.
Yeah, we know that it's not the highest power car we have on the iRacing service. We just see Brian Holmes having another little look there on the number 72 of Steve Hefford. Steve Hefford still defending well, which has brought the other car of Adam McNally, the Youth Energy car, into play as well. And those two are too wide now going up the hill. I think Brian Holmes has managed to make it stick, so yeah, he maintains his place. But as I was saying, I think it could bring some exciting racing here, though. It's quite narrow, which is what the F1 guys were saying at the weekend, so it is a difficult track. It's an old school one, and one of my favourites, as I know it is yours as well, Chaz.
Yeah, it's always quite a demanding track. It's a proper driver's track. There's a lot of areas where you can't really rely on the car to get it done. You have to really pitch it in at the right moment. These two sort of hairpins on the infield, especially, you have to make sure you get a really nice entry into the corner. Don't lock up the front right tyre on either of them, because it'll just send you out wide. You'll miss the apex, and then you'll get a really poor run off the corner. And this corner they're going through now, the second to last, it's just so important to carry the momentum. With the MX5 being a bit of a slower car, of course, it is easy for them to get it turned in, as we see Holmes now latched onto the back of Steve Hefford. Here we go on board as well, down the straight. Great view here. Steve covering the inside slightly, defending where he needs to. Brian's just edging closer and closer, further along the side of him. You can see that Walker ahead is providing a bit of slipstream for Hefford as well, probably not voluntarily. But once again, we see a great battle between the Momo team and the Youth Energy as Hefford down the inside maintains the place. And onto the back of this train also is actually coming the number 4 car of Jamie Ayres as Walker runs a bit wide out of turn 1. But McIntyre, like you said before, Tom, he's not really getting away here. It has kept slightly bunched up anyway.
Yeah, it's still anyone's to play for, isn't it? As we see Ryan Walker tries to take the inside line to defend from Steve Hefford. Steve Hefford alongside slightly. He's going to get on the brake. Steve Hefford tries to go around the outside, but no. So Ryan Walker's still making that move stick, and that's brought Brian Holmes into play. Brian Holmes is up the inside in the number 58 car. Steve Hefford having to defend, and that's brought Adam McNally into play as well. So as they come up the hill again, over the crest there, bit of a difficult part of the section this, but no changes of places as of yet. But we've got a fantastic train going on here at the moment, Chaz.
Yeah, it's so characteristic of this series as well, and especially on a track where slipstream is important. We're going to see this all night, I think, especially when we get to the later run races. We of course have 3 reverse grid wheels tonight for you, where it gets decided by a rather large nostalgic spinning wheel that I'm sure Alex will be looking forward to spinning for us a couple of times. Some of the grid will get reversed, or in some cases all of it, and then we'll get the absolute pleasure of watching some of these quicker guys make their way back through the pack, and especially on a track round, well, a track like Interlagos. It's going to be fun to watch. McNally got a bit of a poor exit there behind these guys. Now he's got Jamie Ayres tucked right up behind him, and in there as well is also Nathan Davis in 7th place. He's the first car that's not Momo or Youth Energy, which just shows the domination these guys have on the championship. You can see Ayres there side by side with McNally, and for the lead as well, Ryan Walker's side by side with McIntyre. He's on the outside with Hefford behind. We saw a fantastic display of car control from Jack McIntyre at Donington last week. If you've not seen the video of him drifting the entire lap after race 1, you need to go back and have a look. There's Steve Hefford there on the grass out of turn 1, round the outside, opportunistic. Here's Brian Holmes. He's got a really nice run, but Steve's surely going to get the slipstream and try and get it back. So it's a constant sort of position changing and battling going on. And like I say, Tom, I reckon we'll see this all night, don't you?
Yeah, I think we will. We know how feisty these guys are. We speak to a lot of them outside of these racing a few series with a lot of the guys from the BSR. So yeah, I think it's going to be an all-round brilliant night of racing. But just to give a little shout out to Jamie Ayres, he's moving up the field and seems to have a really good pace at the moment. He's that time with a 1:49.37, which is right up there with the front-running guys at the moment. You just see a couple looking a little bit back at Josh Thompson, and there's an accident there. That's multiple cars out, so Josh Thompson falls down the grid. Not sure who else was involved, an absolute plethora of cars there, but not sure what happened there, Chaz. I think there was just a little bit too much feistiness there.
Yeah, I think Mikel Garcia got into the back of, well, I couldn't tell who it was he got into the back of, but then the spinning car then took Anthony Mott with them in the number 46. And it was just a bit of a sort of a chain reaction. But speaking of a chain, though, look at this lot at the front. We've got the top 9 cars, I think it is, completely together. This is going to be McIntyre, Walker, Holmes, McNally, Hefford, Ayres, Davis, and McFadden, and Jack Ashton, I think, is on the back of that train as well. And well, the slipstream once again comes into the to be the topic of conversation. They're just not going to spread out if it stays like this, and that's all the better for us and everyone watching on the iRacing Esports Network tonight.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You think they'd have DRS or something going down the back straight here. As we just see Ryan Walker edges out, and it looks like he might have got that move done there on Jack McIntyre. So we've got someone round. That is McNally. He is round at the moment in the number 78 car. Looked to be just a little bit too hot on the brakes from what I could see. And that's all she wrote, and round he went. So unfortunate for him as he falls down the grid. We look back at the replay now. So McNally coming into the corner late on the break, and there was contact there. There was contact there from
Hefford, wasn't it?
That was Hefford, yeah. So Hefford just slightly tapped him on the brakes, and round he went. So unfortunate for him there.
And well, it's created this massive battle now. Then you've got Jack Ashton, Jamie Ayres, number 88, and Nathan Davis is in there as well. Hefford's still in the battle, but joining in is Craig Williams. You've got Jason Cooper, and behind them as well is Alex Cherney. And it's good to see Alex back up there as well. He's racing. Oh no, that's Jason Cooper around. Well, that soon took him out of the battle. I was just going to say he was making his way up, but he's curtailed that. And oh, more contact. Hefford, Ashton, Davis, they're all making contact. Jack Ashton is the one that loses out. I'm sure Hefford will be kicking himself. That's twice as someone's turning around the front of his car, but this is still the battle for the lead then. McIntyre leading it from Walker and his teammate Brian Holmes. Brian recently joined in Thrust Vector to race for me and Tom, which we're very grateful for. Looking forward to working with him, but he's with Youth Energy for the BSR MX5s, and he's certainly been a powerful force throughout the entire season, and he's showing that once again tonight. But these guys have broken away now from the likes of, well, it's Stuart McFadden in 4th place, who's done a brilliant job of getting to the front of that following pack, Tom.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? He's moved through up 8 places from his starting position of 12. So good on you, Stu. You're having a good run so far. Keep the consistency up, and I'm sure you'll maintain that place. We know how quick you are. Although Jamie Ayres is behind him, we know how quick Jamie is as well. We focus on our leaders now, and Ryan Walker trying to go up the trying to go around the outside of Jack McIntyre in the Momo car. Doesn't seem to make it stick. Well, these guys are really fighting it tooth and nail, aren't they? Let's just hope we don't have a knock-on this evening.
Yeah, definitely. We know that's been the hot topic of controversy in the motorsport world, as Walker getting a really good slipstream now down the inside of McIntyre. In the background, though, Ayres did actually get past McFadden in turn 1. McFadden's trying to return the favour. Walker's trying to do the same to McIntyre. He's washing out wide. That's going to give Holmes the run, surely, but he sort of gets in the way of his teammate a little bit there. maybe a bit of a miscommunication, but they're going to stick with McIntyre. That's the main thing. He's not getting away massively. McFadden and Ayres having a right ding-dong behind them as well, and then Davis and Williams further behind that. Really good battles going on all the way through, and once again, Tom, I mean, I'm not sure how much of the series you've seen before, but oh, that's Davis is off in the background, sorry. He's just blended in with the grass once again like he did at Donington. Green car, green surface, and he's around. Not sure how he's managed it, whether he had contact or anything such as the lap before, but I was going to say, Tom, this series tends to have a lot of battles in the top 10 that sort of stick all the cars together, and we're seeing that once again tonight. I mean, these battles are spreading out a bit more, but at the same time, they're not being sort of shy about it.
No, they're not, are they? It is a brilliant car as the MX5, obviously not the most powerful car on the series, but it's so well refined, the car that they've given us to drive. It's like if any of you play flight sims, it's like a low-powered World War II aircraft, and it'll be so refined and lovely to fly that's what the MX5 is, and fortunately for us, it brings us absolutely fantastic racing. As you see, Adam Delmont now of the Youth Energy car trying to go up the inside of Nick McCarron in the Momo car, so they are too wide now coming up the straight. And it looks to be that Adam Delmont has actually got the move done, although as they come towards the T1, which is always going to be difficult on the brakes, they're starting to bunch them up now as this, because everyone's jostling for position. Looks like Adam Delmont's got the move done. He tries to stick it up the inside. There's contact there. He has contact with Nick McCarron, which has pushed him out wide. So Nick McCarron losing out there, and Adam Delmont getting the move done.
Yeah, it looks like Jack Colette's going to have a good run on McCarron as well there and get the move done. As we see, change for the lead. That's going to be Ryan Walker down the inside of McIntyre. They're all running off. They're all trying to make the most of all the surface that they can. But at the moment, it's Ryan Walker in the lead. Around the outside goes McIntyre. He's not quite going to get it done. Brian Holmes is going to be sat there laughing, watching this, thinking, well, I'm just going to stay in third for now, see what I can do. You don't want to hit that curb on the inside too hard either, really, because we do always say that it's quite a softly set up car. Jordan Giddings down the inside of Rob Graham there in the number 22 machine, the Auto Metnock Hill car. Number 22 and 23 battling it out. Giddings gets the move done. And they've got Delmont and McCarron and Jack Colette, who we saw not long ago, chasing them down as well. So that's another little train in the midfield. This battle for 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. And I believe Dan Hunt's on the back of this as well in 16th. So another good train of cars, and well, a bit of damage to the front of Giddings' car as well. So he's obviously not the cleanest of runs through the field so far.
No, he hasn't, has he? There's quite a few bit of argy-bargy going on out there at the moment. But what would you expect from MX5 racing? We see it in every series. As we see there, that's Jack Ashton getting a little bit feisty. There's a pack of, 6 cars out there at the moment. So on board now with Jack Ashton. He's moved down 6 places from his starting position. So unfortunate for him. But he's putting in decent lap times. 149.42 is his best at the moment. So going well. Obviously we'll go a little bit slower as they get into this pack, but here we go then. So they're near enough going to go 3 wide. Jack Ashton looks out to the left. Can he do 2 in one go? It depends who goes latest on the brakes. We know how dangerous turn 1 can be. As we see there, the number 5 machine of Nick McCarron going out wide, and he's round in the number 98. Jack Ashton makes a big mistake. Looked like he got on the power far too early there, Chaz, and round it went. But that just goes to show it might be a low power car, but they can be quite difficult to drive these things.
I think he might have had a bit of help from Nathan Davis. I'm not one to point fingers, but yeah, I think he might have just got the slightest of touches. And then Jack Colette did well not to properly clobber him. He gave him a bit of a tap, but yeah, it wasn't too much to completely right the thing. I was 3 wide into turn 1. Just behind us there was Scott Malcolm going in, and then there's the Result Clothing cars are having a good battle with Luke Cooper. We just look back, here we go then. So they're side by side. There's a little bit of a knock with Dan Hunt, and then Davis is down the inside, and it looks like he might have just lifted the rear slightly. McCarron got a bit of contact too, but yeah, it might have been about 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It was very close racing. As we look back at the front then, Holmes is now second behind McIntyre with Walker in third. We've got to think that Brian's got the pace to try and unsettle McIntyre, but Jack is a multiple champion in this series. He's won the mini championships that they do. For anyone that's new to it, this series tends to consist of 4 small championships. They've got the spring, summer, autumn and winter series, and then that all contributes to one big series over the whole year. Just splits it up nicely so they can just sort of battle it out for the smaller championships, I suppose. And when we do have the overlay on the screen, we do have the Pro and Am categories, which are designated by blue and green cars. I'll obviously remind you of that later on in the evening when they pop up. As the bit of contact there between Holmes and McIntyre. It looked like Holmes went to turn in, and McIntyre got a bit sort of straight lined on the brakes almost there. Tom, it was a bit of a strange manoeuvre, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he broke too late. Pressure's starting to show now for these guys up the front. He broke too late as Brian Holmes gets a fantastic run out of T3, so we'll see what he can do. He looks to the inside. You know, he's got his teammate behind him, so they can use the teamwork. Has a little look up the inside. Who's going to go latest on the break? Brian Holmes sticks it in. Little bit of curb, then forces McIntyre out wide, doesn't he? And gets the move done. But McIntyre is not giving up. They're on board with McIntyre now. And Brian Holmes is going to be having to think, what am I going to do here? McIntyre's a little look up the inside, and that's ideally where you want to be going up the hill. And he takes first position back. So fierce battles at the front, Chaz. I hope you guys are enjoying it at home.
Yeah, this is great door handle to door handle stuff, but this is the nature of it. Oh, they're so close to making contact through there. Really not sure how they're not ended up spinning each other in, but this is the beauty of the racing that you can get on iRacing. It's so much closer compared to pretty much every sim that you can go on. Really fierce competition. McIntyre all over the place out of the second hairpin then. And I believe that means this is going to be the final lap of the race as well, because we've done 18 minutes so far since they got onto the grid. And that last corner, McIntyre's wide, he's going to go on the grass, and that's going to give it to Holmes, surely, and then Walker's going to try and get through as well. It's not going to be enough, is it?
No, it's not going to be enough. So will the two Youth Energy boys get it? Ryan Walker is ahead at the moment. This reminds me of that famous Indy Lights race. So Brian Holmes now out in front. He's got his teammate behind him with Ryan Walker, but the slipstream's coming into play now as they come towards the line. But look at Jack McIntyre. He's got a fantastic run, and Brian Holmes seems to just take it there at the end. My God, what a fantastic finish to that race that was there, Chaz.
Absolutely unreal stuff. 64 thousandths between the three of them, and Jack McIntyre once again busting out the drifting manoeuvres as the two result clothing cars are Kyle Hardy and Craig Jones just ahead of him, crossing the line there in 20th and 21st places there. Really good battle in the midfield. Number 17 coming across the line there of Alan McCain, with Joe McDonald, Max Wright, Peter Van Gool with him as well. Adam McNally.